Hello, guys, and welcome to Anything Goes with Sania and Leah. We are on episode 16, and this is kind of a big episode purely based off the fact Leah starts prep soon and I finish prep soon.
We're having a crossover.
We are having a crossover, but honestly, I'm so excited to see you prep. It's going to be really good.
I'm excited too, I feel like I can't believe it's been a year. Like it's just
Until
yeah, I'm excited because I feel like you just feel ready to
yeah,
prep. Like I
that's
just
good
feel
though.
ready.
That's so good because
Yeah.
a lot of my clients go, oh, I just don't know if, like some of my clients, not all of my clients, some of my clients are like, I just don't know if like I'm
Yeah.
ready to diet. And I'm like, well, don't prep. Don't do
No,
it.
unless you're like, I absolutely feel like I want to do this.
Yeah, literally just like
Yeah.
you've got to almost be sick of food so
Yeah.
that you are so content for a long time.
Yeah. That's what I feel like now though. I feel like I'm at the point where I'm like, I really like do not want to eat this meal right now.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish.
Sorry, probably not the best thing to
No,
say.
no, 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 no. I love that stage. I love that stage. And you know what? Next time we need to plan it better so we can actually go out for meals together and stuff.
I know.
Because
Yeah, because you're literally nearly, well, you've got a little bit more left, but I'm waiting for my feedback from Dan now. I sent a check in this morning. So yeah, I think we'll be starting tomorrow.
are you excited to do like cardio and stuff?
Yeah, I
Like,
am, which is
I enjoy
really
it.
weird. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get up and do my cardio.
You know what? Like for the first 10 weeks of prep, like feeling fitter when you've pushed weight and when you're lethargic, it's like, or 10 weeks, maybe like 8 weeks, you feel so fit and
Yeah,
so healthy and so great, don't you? And then
yeah.
it gets hard.
I feel like the first probably 8 to 10 weeks, let's say 8 weeks, I feel like 10 weeks I start feeling a bit ropey.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
first 8 weeks when you're like kind of steadily losing weight, you like feel quite fit, you're like a bit hungry, but you're not starving. Your attention span is like, because I find, I don't know if you're the same, when you start dieting, you start having less food and you're
You're
doing
more
cardio in the
productive.
morning. I'm like so switched on.
It's
Whereas now I'm like, I'm doing work and I'm like, God, I could have a nap now.
Yeah, it's literally like it's the end of an off season is very similar to an end of a prep. Like
Yeah,
when if you've pushed food really, really well and you're quite not chubby, but like you've pushed your body fat and you're eating a lot, you're constantly eating, you're training really heavy, you're really, really strong. Like your body is tired from digesting the food, from like you're feeling lethargic, you're heavy, you're lugging around the weight. And it's the same as the prep, like you're lighter, yes, but you're eating less, you're doing more, you're tired, you can nap at any point of the day. It's kind of weird how they both correspond, but in very
yeah,
different ways.
yeah. But I feel like the first few weeks of prep are really nice because you sort of like feel better, but you're not at the point where you're like overly fucked from dieting for ages.
Yeah, yeah,
So
100%. That's
excited for
I
that.
love it. I love
Yeah,
that part of prep because you're like, I feel good. Like
yeah,
I like feeling hungry. I miss it. And then you don't miss it.
yeah.
And then you're like, give me my food.
Yeah, literally. I am going out for a meal on when am I going? On Saturday, because I already had London planned and I was going to start prep on Sunday. But
Yeah.
when I spoke to Dan last week, he was like, oh, we can just start like after your check-in on Wednesday if you want, do a few days and then just have your meal out in London still, or just take the rest of your meals in with you, which I was going to do anyway. So I was like, may as well just do that because I was going to take the rest of my meals anyway. So yeah, I think we're just gonna start tomorrow, so that'll be fun.
That's exciting. Well, to be honest, like the first week, like the first few weeks of prep are more so like just take out the crap.
Yeah,
It's literally like usually in an off season, you have like one off pan meal. You'll have things like squares bars in there. You'll have
yeah,
like, things like rice cakes or whatever it might be. You just
yeah.
basically take the crap out, don't you?
Yeah, you take the off-plan meals out. I've
Yeah.
got like loads of free calories, probably take the free calories out.
Yeah.
That in itself is probably going to pull me back like
A lot.
4,000 or 5,000 calories a week.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where people don't realize like why pushing food up is so good, because you want to start the prep in the sense of like taking the crap out rather than
Yeah,
taking like the good stuff out. Does that
yeah,
make sense? Like, because
yeah,
it's like it's you start in a good position with a lot of food, you'll end in a good position with a lot of food. In a way, like what I mean
yeah,
by that is you can diet on less. More.
Yeah,
Diet on more.
right, on more food. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to try my food this time though, because I feel like last time, obviously Dan just sends my food over WhatsApp and it's like, take this out, whatever, add this. Last time I used to put it into my fitness pal every time. I'm not going to do it because last time I got to 1200 calories and I was like, oh. So I was like, this time I just don't want to know. So I'm just not going to track it because I know I've got to eat what it tells me anyway. So I'm just going to eat it, get on with it and not look at the calories.
I promise you now, best thing I've done this prep.
Yeah.
If someone says to me, how many calories are you on? I genuinely couldn't tell you, even though I could macro calculate in my head, because I'm not dumb. I choose not to. And it's the best thing ever, because if I did that with these last couple of days that I've had, I would probably gone into a state of sadness and genuine depression, in the sense of I would have been so sad of the number.
Yeah.
I would have gone, how am I going to do this? But with me just going like 5 meals, lots of veg, protein, sound, let's go. Otherwise it was like 900 calories. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. It like gets in your head before you've even done it, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I'll start cardio and I'll be like, right, 70 minutes. Okay, that's all the food gone.
Is that how much you've been doing?
I've been doing like, Tom's basically put me for 60 minutes. But in my head, I was like, if I can do more, if I feel like I can do more, I'm going to do more. So like every day, so he put me on 60 minutes. I did 40 minutes fasted, 20 minutes post-workout. And then I was like, after post-workout, I'm like, how do I feel? And I just do like either like 5-10 minutes, and then I just kept bringing it up, because I was just like, I just need to get leaner. So obviously I just felt like I could do it. If I felt energetic enough, I was going to do it. So I tell Tom, I'd say to him, right, did extra 10 minutes of cardio today, and I wouldn't ever go down. So if I added 5 minutes, new time, or if I'm like, right, I can add another 5 minutes. So I got up to the 75 minutes. That's when I went hypo on Sunday. I knew that 75 minutes was probably a little bit.
That is a long time though.
But even though I felt shit, like I knew that I'm gonna, if I have that slither of energy left to do an extra 5 minutes in the grand scheme of things is fuck all. And I was like, if that can strip off something, I'm in for a better run. Like, I'm happy I did it, because for me mentally, if I felt like I could have done more and I didn't, I was really upset with myself. But Tom was really, really happy. And then he said to me, right, you have to now stick to the times I'm giving you. We're trying to reduce fatigue. We're now peaking you. We're not trying to diet anymore. We're trying to keep what you have and fill you up. So he was like, if I say 30 minutes now, it's 30 minutes. If I say take the weighted vest off, take the weighted vest off. If I say eat this, eat this. To be fair, I kept with my diet and stuff, but he put me to do 16,000 steps. I did 20k steps a day just because I wanted to. It was one of them, right? I was like, it's all or nothing. I've literally got a few weeks left. I was like, what is an extra 4k steps and an extra 50 minutes of cardio going to do? It's not going to piss away my muscle. Like, I'm already doing that. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm already at that point of prep where I might as well, if I can survive it, I'm going to do it. But honestly, mentally, I felt good. I felt really good, because I used that second place as my motivation, as like, I just need to be better, and I'm going to do everything I can to be better. And that in return, I think winning actually would have made it a lot harder for me this time round, because you don't have anything to kind of like work towards, because in your head you're like, well, I've already won, I'm already good. But when you actually get humbled, it's like, okay, I need to be better, and I need to do everything that I can do to be better. So I have the chance to kind of go, I've already won though. Like, I'm all right. Like, I don't need, why am I pushing this hard? Where I use this as motivation to kind of go, fuck this, I'm doing this. But my body was like, nah,
stop.
Please.
Are you excited?
I'm so excited. Like, the first time on tuberose stage, it'll be good to see what it's like. It's going to be different. I'm more nervous for this show, purely based on the fact I'm not going into the known. I don't know how I've never even watched a tuberose show. Well, like live, like I've seen it on social media and stuff, and like watched videos and YouTube videos and stuff. So I know what it's like, but I've not watched one in person.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit more nervous for that because it's a new venue. It's like not with judges I know. There's like no familiar faces. It's in the big leagues now. So like I'm not saying PCA isn't in the big leagues.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So
Yeah.
for like what my definition of big league is,
Yeah.
like I don't mind not being a PCA pro, but I would absolutely love to do well in tuberose. So that's why it means like it's
Yeah.
in big league. And the judges, they fly out from like America and Spain, so it's like it's just a bit of a bigger event for me, even though it's just a regional. I'm very excited, and it'll be good to see how I line up in my 2 categories. So
yeah, I'm excited to see how you get on.
did you see that an 18-year-old won the fucking bikini overall at tuberose last week?
I was following it a bit, but no, I didn't see that. I do look at
18
like,
motherfucking years old.
that's mad.
It's
Oh my God.
crazy. She looked good. She looked really good. So I'm excited to kind of see what kind of goes on. I feel generally good. Like I'm hiding my physique at the moment because I just don't want anyone to insert their like unnecessary comments because I know I needed to come in leaner and I know that I've done everything that I can to come in leaner. But you'll always get people like, she should have come in even more leaner, or like I just don't want that unnecessary comment. And because Libby was so fucking lean, it made me look so much more softer. But in person, promise you, I look good.
Yeah, no, I know, yeah. And I think going into the show as well, knowing that you've like really gone for it, I think that'll even like, that's even a really positive thing, isn't it?
Exactly. I'm excited. I'm excited for this weekend. It's a big weekend. I'm going to be very busy. I've got a cot, and I think, do you know what the best thing is like, I think this leads on to this, well, with the topic that we want to talk about is my brother is coming to watch my shows, this weekend show, which to me is like just the most wholesome thing ever because he doesn't understand bodybuilding at all. Like he really didn't get it at the beginning, and now like he's really interested in it. Like, you know, when you get that sense of like, wow, I'm actually kind of shocked and proud of you sense from that person. He's like, I want to come see you. Like none of my family at the beginning of my shows were like really interested, but now a lot of my family are like,
that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. And I'm just so excited that a family member's going to be there because everyone who comes with me on show days previously is in the industry and they understand it, but it will be nice because he's putting himself out of his comfort zone to support me.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be amazing. Yeah. Because I think that's what we were kind of talking about, was like, it is hard if you've got people around you who like aren't supportive. It can be really tricky, whether that be friends or family, or even outside of bodybuilding, even if you're just in a fat loss phase and you've got people at work, for example, a lot of, you know what work environments are like
offices are the worst.
Or even like I've got clients that are teachers and things like that, like they really struggle in like staff room scenarios. But even friends, like people that are supposed to support you and family, can sometimes be like really negative and make it a lot harder for you.
And also don't realize they're putting a negative, they don't realize they're being negative towards what they're saying as well, which I find that a lot of people don't think before they speak, and it's like peer pressure, and it's like because we're not normal, or because we're, you know, not giving into our indulges and our wants, like it's odd to them because in the nicest way possible they want you to crack because they don't want to seem weak because they're having it.
I was literally saying this when I did a similar topic in one of my client lives last week, and was literally saying, normally if someone is making a negative comment towards something you're doing that is like a healthy behavior or doing something positive for yourself, like say if you're in an office and you're like, actually no, like I don't want to have the cake, everyone else is having cake, whatever, and then someone's like, oh, stop being boring, have the cake, like just live, it's only one bit of cake. Normally it's a reflection of how they feel about themselves, and because they feel then, I don't know, guilty or, you know, something like that, they then want to make you feel bad about it. It's not anything you're doing wrong, it's just a reflection on how they feel.
100%. And also like they're trying to make their actions seem like the right actions by, what's the word? By quantifying what you're doing. So if you're not doing it, they're going to think, well, why am I eating this? But if you eat it, they'll go, oh, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. It's just making us feel better a lot of the time. So I think it's just remembering that, isn't it? And I do think for us, it is relatively straight. I mean, obviously there's like friends and family, but it is relatively straightforward because like you're in your own environment, you're kind of working for yourself, you're not around other people loads and loads.
Yeah.
So I do think it is a bit easier, but I think for people that are like in office jobs or things like that, it gets quite tricky, doesn't it?
100%. Like, what would be your advice, for example, if you were in the office job, you were in a prep or dieting, it doesn't have to be a prep, and that scenario happened? What would be your advice to help someone kind of say no, but also feel okay about saying no? What would you tell someone?
Yeah. I think the best thing you can do, obviously you can't do this with everyone, but if you're around the same people a lot, I think the best thing you can do is sit down and have an actual conversation with them and explain. Because if you're just constantly saying, no, I don't want the cake, I'm on a diet, like it's such a passing comment, you know, and it's probably going to go on for months and months and months. Whereas if you're in an environment and you're around the same people every single day throughout the whole prep, it makes sense to just sit down and be like, look, guys, like I'm doing a prep or I'm doing a shoot or whatever I'm doing. This is what I need to do. Like show them pictures, be like this is how it needs to be, like this is why I'm doing it, explain like why it's important to you. Because I think a lot of the time when people are, oh, okay, I get that, like it's making you happy or like it really means a lot to you, it just, you know what I mean, rather than it just being like a passing, oh, I'm on a diet comment. So I think, and you can do that with anything.
It's education. Like, for example, like a lot of people diet these days, and a lot of people don't diet correctly, and a lot of people go, oh, I'm on diet break, or oh, it doesn't matter, like it's fine, and
gotta go Monday, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So people are automatically going to think, oh, ones are fine, and that's generally what people think. One cake's fine, and most people who are dieting are saying that and doing that, or have diet breaks on a weekend and then diet again on the weekdays. So a lot of diets aren't taken seriously.
Yes, exactly.
So when it comes to like dieting, it's like, for example, with me, bodybuilding, if you're going into bodybuilding, not just a diet, it's so important to share your love for this hobby and to educate your family. Now, my one piece of advice is to really be open to the questions, allow your family to ask questions, really, like you said, sit them down and educate them, and don't get frustrated if they say the wrong thing. I think that's where also like it's really hard to kind of build that relationship upon that thing, because a lot of people will come up to me and say, oh, my dad said I was looking really skinny, and obviously to us that's, what the fuck, like I don't want to look skinny, and that's like the words lean, I'm looking lean, do you know what I mean? And then you get offended by it, or they say something, a passing comment which literally they don't know the meaning of, that's just generally how they speak, and in our kind of language it's really offensive. And it's like you almost just have to say, you have to tell them, I'm not skinny, like it's more so like lean, like it's lean tissue, like I'm leaner, or this and that. And you do have to allow them to make these mistakes, because I feel like a lot of people have bad relationships with their friends and family towards bodybuilding, because you aren't allowing them to make the mistakes, when in reality they just don't know. It's a very odd sport. You've just got to allow them and educate them, and get them to love it. At my first season, my family supported me, yes, but were very questionable and very concerned for my health, B, why I'd want to do it, C, why the hell would I want to look like that? You're a very nice, feminine looking young girl, Sania. Why would you want to look like that? And then once I educate them and they finally saw that I did the show, and they were like, shit, she actually got to the finish line. That's when they started
taking it more seriously.
Exactly. That's when they start taking you more seriously and they're really invested in it now. My dad's constantly asking. So it's basically like, I think what people need to remember, it's a journey with exception. It's not, you can't, I think education is really good and it's a must, but you can't expect someone to understand like that.
Yeah. And I think normally as well, what you've got to remember is if it's family, like close family and friends, if they say something negative, it's normally because they're worried about you, or it comes from like a place of love. If they say,
Yeah.
oh, you're looking a bit skinny, like, oh, are you all right? Are you sure you should be doing this? It's not a bad thing. It's just because they're probably worried about you. Because I'm going to be honest, like if you weren't educated in bodybuilding and you saw someone that was 2 weeks out, like I would probably think, shit, like they look really ill.
Like,
So
is there anything wrong in their life? Because
so you can understand, can't you?
Exactly, 100%. And that's why you're expecting them to put you're expecting your family and friends to put them in your shoes. Does that make sense? Did that make sense? You're expecting them to understand. You're expecting them to understand, but you need to understand what they're thinking. Does that? I think that works. But like, no, it's like, it's one of those, like, you just have to allow it. Like, unfortunately, we are the weird ones. Like, if it comes to dieting and stuff, like, I think it's less extreme. So, like, usually it's more like towards a photo shoot, which you don't get as lean for, and it's a lot of it's a healthier kind of diet in comparison to bodybuilding. And that's, I think, a little bit more accepting. You tell them you're doing a photo shoot, it means a lot, you really want to take this on your journey. But I feel like as soon as you add bodybuilding into it, most parents of this day and age, like millennials, like 35 onwards, they class bodybuilding as males jacked up, shit ton of steroids, or females that compete are men. But they don't realize, or they don't have the understanding or education of the evolution of bodybuilding,
especially within females.
Yes, and that you don't look like that all year round. But like, even at home, for example, my brother's boyfriend, so his partner, he understands bodybuilding, but he keeps forgetting that I'm dieting. He'll say like, oh, do you want some? Like have some. And I'm like, oh no, I'm good, thank you. Like, because I've already told him. It's like, are you sure? Like, it's really good. And I'm like, I'm genuinely, I'm okay. I can't have it anyway, but thank you. And he's like, oh yeah. I'm sorry, I can't remember. I forgot. And he was like, and then he'll ask, so, but why can't you have it? It's, it's only like sunflower seeds, for example. Like, surely there's like hardly any calories in that. Like, what's
this gets a lot, doesn't it? Like, oh, but it's healthy. Like I remember I went out for a meal. I can't remember who it was with. It was like with some family. And we were at like a Thai place, and I was like, just sat there with my Diet Coke, and the person was like, "Oh, you gonna have anything?" I was like, "No, I'm on prep." And she was like, "Yeah, but it's healthy."
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like, it's not quite the same. Like, don't get me wrong, in diet phases, I think that are less extreme to bodybuilding, you can do you can take calories out from the meal and put the calories in if you go out for food or something like, or if, let's say, for example, I don't know, like you have, I don't know, a cookie, you have to take the calories out. Like, not that you should, but for example, let's say, I don't know, something like that, or you go out for a meal, like you take the calories out that you're going to have a meal.
Manipulate it.
Exactly. But when it comes to like a bodybuilding prep, like the macros are so important for like the whole process. You can't switch the macros up really. And they're like, but it's healthy. And it's like, yeah, but it's not my meal plan.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's easy forgettable. Like, you got to remember, you're living your life, so it's priority for you, but it's not fucking priority for other people. And generally, you just have to be really positive. And let's say, for example, actually, here's a question for you. You've tried to do everything. You've been really understanding, educated your family, but there's still that one person who just is negative Nelly. How do you deal with it?
I think it's really hard with that, right? Because if you've done all you can, you've sat down, you've explained it, you've tried to be patient, like what more can you do at the end of the day? So I think at that point, you've just got to accept that, right, this is where they're at right now. It might not be forever, but if it's something that you truly want to do, go and do it. Because I just think you can't let, even if it is family, and that's probably quite a sad thing for you. I just think if you really want to do it, go and do it, because you can't let the opinion of one person stop you doing what you want to do. So I do think like if you genuinely want to do it, you've got to do what makes you happy, right, at the end of the day. And that's what I was saying, you know, to my clients today when we're having this conversation. Like, there's always going to be someone with an opinion, whether that be in the office, and you can try and sit down and explain it to people. But obviously, you can't do that with every single person that you come across, because some people, like, it's just easier sometimes, isn't it? Just say, oh, no, thank you, without like going into all the prep explanation. And I think sometimes, like, you just have to accept that some people aren't going to understand, or you don't want to explain it to them. And then it's just thinking, well, you know, it's my goal, this is how I need to act to move forward to my goal, and then just make sure like your actions are aligned with your goal. So I think it's just, you just got to stay focused, haven't you, on what you want, and stop letting other people's noise get in the way for what you want.
So fucking true. Like, even though we all want people to accept us for who we are, some people unfortunately just can't. And like you said, you do just have to go, this is what's making me happy. And if you can't accept that, I just don't know what kind of involvement you'll have. Like, at the end of the day, I'm doing it to myself. It doesn't affect you. You just have to watch me do it. That's all you've got to do. If you could keep your negative comments to yourself, that would be great.
Yes.
But I'm doing this, and you don't have to accept it, nor do you have to agree with it. But whatever you do not have an opinion and say it to my face. That's what I'd say personally. Like, I'd go, I appreciate you don't accept it. You've told me now. Don't tell me again. I'm doing it. You can talk to whoever the fuck you want to about what's going on, but don't talk to me about it, and don't try and talk me out of it.
I think that's
what I do. But like, also, like, another thing that I was asked about is like, because obviously we're lucky in the sense that we work in the industry, we have friends in the industry, our family, we're seasoned athletes, so our families do understand it now. And we have partners, right, in the industry. So that in ourselves, we are very lucky, because that's really easy when it comes to no explanation and not having to grab food, blah, blah, blah. There are a lot of people actually that for some reason, I just always think bodybuilders go with bodybuilders. So I when someone's not with a bodybuilder, I'm like, what? Like, what the fuck? But some of the time, most of the time, people aren't with people in a like, they're in a relationship with someone who's into fitness but not bodybuilding at all, and doesn't understand it, or not into fitness at all. Like, I've got two questions or two topics that have come up. One, how do you still stay, what's the word I'm looking for?
Focused?
Not focused. How do you stay involved in the relationship whilst in a prep? Like, how do you stay present whilst you're in a prep with someone who's not into bodybuilding, and also prep friendly date ideas?
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I think, again, it's just important to have that conversation. Like, you'll be the same with Reese. Like, when Will and I prep, we don't have to explain, because we know that we can't go out for food. We know that we're both gonna probably not want to talk to each other some days. That's okay. But like, if you've got someone who isn't doing it, that person's probably going to think that you don't love them anymore because of how you are. So I think just have a conversation with them at the start and just say, right, okay, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do. I'm probably going to have some days where, you know, I really feel shit and I can't like have a conversation with you. I think having that conversation is important at the start. But then also, like if you look at what you and Reese have done, you've done loads of stuff. Like, you can still go out and do things together. And I think it's actually really important when you're on prep, even with family, to still show up and put effort in, because you don't want to just hibernate the whole prep and never do anything, because you'll end up with no relationships at the end of your prep.
Yeah, it really frustrates me when people say like, I can't, I'm in prep. I'm like, you can. Like, you have to almost make more of a conscious effort, because you aren't going to be present in day-to-day life. You're only going to be present in the things that you've planned. Like, people, like, that's why I thought it was a really good kind of topic, because people are constantly asking me, but how are you and Reese doing this? You're like a week out. You're like, and it's like, because I think the best way for a relationship is communication. Me and Reese, at the start of our first season, we were really shit at communicating with each other. We were newly together.
Yeah.
Didn't understand how each other were. We weren't communicating properly, and that was our major issue. So if I was annoying Reese wouldn't communicate with me. So I'd continue to annoy him in a specific way because he didn't communicate that with me, or I didn't communicate to him fully how I was feeling, vice versa.
Yeah.
I think in a relationship, or any relationship, in the morning when you wake up next to them or you text them or whatever, you tell them how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Through midday, you tell them how you're feeling. In the evening, you tell them how you're feeling, because they're going to guess that you're feeling okay.
Yeah.
You've got to say to them, I'm really tired today. I'm so sorry. I just don't, you have to every day communicate, because
Yeah.
it's good. You have to be able to do that, but also you can't use prep as the excuse as to why you're a twat. You can't use prep as an excuse as to why you're not doing certain things. So, for example, me and Reese have literally gone away. We have literally watched football matches. We go to the cinema. Like, you have to make that conscious effort to still hold that relationship. And it's funny, really, because when people say like, yeah, but what date ideas do you have when you're on prep? And I'm like,
so much you can do.
everything apart from going for a meal.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that gets taken out.
You can still get dressed up and go out for drinks and just have like
Pepsi Max. Literally, you can literally still go out for really nice drinks. You can go on nice walks, cinema, bowling. Like, there's like
mini golf.
you can even skydive together. Like,
biking. There's so much you can do.
Going away for a weekend in an Airbnb. What else is there?
I did that with my friends actually when I was on prep for the British. We went away for a weekend to Chester and went to the zoo. They went out for food. I went with them and I just ate before I went out and then had a Diet Coke. And same with them. Like, we all sat and had breakfast together in the morning. I just did my meal prep.
Yeah. It's literally like, there's the only thing you can't do is drink alcohol and not go for food. Like, I think it's so important to, if you can't hold out your end on other aspects of the relationship, such as sexual intercourse, such as affection, such as communication, like in terms of like being able to talk to them and like being energetic, you have to put effort into actually spending quality time with them. And if that's one time a week where it's just you and him, and that's your quality time, that will be most likely enough for that. No, but that also limits the time, so you're not spreading it out each day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because like when I'm on prep, like, I can't, when I get further into prep, I can't deal with any affection. Like, it just makes me feel funny for some reason.
Reese is like that. I'm not. I'm so my love language is giving gifts and affection. Like, I will give, so I'm like a giver. I'm a lover. Like, in my love of my, I don't know what one it is, but I'm like, I give. So like, for me, I'll always hug, I'll always kiss, I want to be around that person, because that's what I feel like they want. And I'll also buy them things, and I'll do this for them, and I'll cook their meals, for example. So I'll constantly do stuff for them. So Reese is like you. He is, please give me my space. But for me, I used to struggle with that, because I used to think, oh my God, like, you don't like my love. You don't like my love. Like, you're not appreciating what I do as my interpretation of love. So that's why we've had to kind of like, he's had to accept the fact that he has to allow me to give him a hug, sort of affection. That's literally when we go to bed, we have a cuddle. That's all I get. That's all I get. But it's enough, because I leave him alone for the day. He can be productive, and then in bed we're trying to sleep anyway. And then I have come to the like conclusion, I need to just let him. He still loves me, and he tells me he loves me more than he used to, because he knows I still need that kind of. I don't know why, but I almost like need to just know that like he needs to say it without me asking or me saying it first. Otherwise, I do in my head, I'm like, oh, like, he's in a bit of a bad mood. Like, even though I know it's prep, I'm like, I annoyed him. Like,
I know what you mean.
Spiral. So when he says that, I'm like, hey, cool, I can give him space again. Does that make sense? So it's like, it's if you're newly in a relationship, you're gonna find it really hard, because you're still learning about each other. But if you are someone who's been with them 2, maybe 3 years, and you do have that understanding of each other, it will be a little bit easier.
It's just explaining, isn't it? And I think it is obviously a lot easier if the other person has been through a prep, because they understand what you feel like.
They're like, yeah, you feel like shit. I know what that feels like.
Yeah. Whereas
Don't worry, you do what you need to do.
it must be hard if you're with someone that hasn't prepped, because then they're not, it's not relatable at all unless you've been through it in terms of how it feels. So yeah, I think it's just important, isn't it, to still do things. I'm going to really try and do that this year, like try and go out and do stuff and, you know, still kind of do fun things.
Yeah, I think it's really good. So, for example, I'm seeing Reese today. Obviously, we're both 4 or 5 days out. We're going to the cinema to watch Fast and Furious.
Nice.
And tomorrow we're doing something because the weather has been so lovely. I said to him, we were like, right, we need to get steps. I was like, let's go on a really lovely walk. Let's take our meal prep. I'll bring a blanket and we'll go for like our version of a picnic.
Yeah, that's cute.
And it's just stuff like that. Like, it doesn't have to be anything special. They can bring their own food. You bring your, and I was said to him, well, we'll sit, have a picnic, we'll watch Dragon's Den. And that's probably, I would rather do that than go on the CN Tower for a meal for a day.
Yeah.
I'd rather genuinely do a picnic on a nice summer day with Reese than spend 300 quid on dinner.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So it's based, I think the main take home from today's podcast is communication is your best friend, but also understanding that not everyone's going to accept what you do.
And that's okay. Just remember, like, I think I get this with clients as well that aren't necessarily on prep, but are in, you know, diets or fat loss phases, and they feel like they're peer pressured into doing things, into like having a drink with their friends or like getting a takeaway with their friends when everyone else is having one. And it's like your goals are your own goal. Yeah, your goals are your own goals. Bad. No one's got the same goals as you, so their actions aren't going to be the same as yours. And if you want a different outcome, you've got to make sure you're acting in alignment with those goals.
Yes.
So, like, you know, you don't need to cave and do what everyone else is doing. Like, do what you want to do and what matters to you.
Yeah. And also remember that everything that you're restricting is easily accessible later. So, for example, that cake that they might have had, there's cake in the shop 2 minutes down the road from me.
Yeah.
That takeaway, that Chinese takeaway that you so badly want, why can't you just wait another 4 or 5 weeks and you can have that and really enjoy it and really understand that you deserve that because you actually fucking worked hard for it. But if you eat it before when you're meant to, you're just going to have to work 10 times harder to get to that point. You might as well make your life easier. Do the diet for the 8 or however many weeks you're doing it. Then that means, so a lot of people come up to me and say, start with my coach. We're only meant to do like an 8-week diet phase, but it's changed to 15. And I'm like, how adherent were you? And they were like, oh, like, you know, I had a few bad days, blah, blah, blah. Like, you elongated that at your own diet phase because you weren't sticking to plan. And that's why they've done that, because, you know, you've not gotten to the point that they need you at because you've eaten loads of food or you've not stuck to plan, or you're lying to him saying you stuck to plan, but you haven't. So it's like, to make it as less painful as you possibly can. Stick to your diet.
Yeah. Basically, that's it.
That's it. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. You know, we've covered quite a few topics, you know, family and friends, how to deal with it in workspace, relationships and stuff like that. Hopefully you guys have taken something from it and really kind of enjoyed it and kind of given you an insight that, you know, like you have to put the effort into it, like you have to put the effort in to kind of get people to understand. And
definitely.
It's just how it is. But anyway, guys, next time you see us, I would have competed and Leah will be in prep. So
yay!
Exciting stuff. Anyway, guys, how many followers are we on Instagram? 109?
No, more than that.
Are we? Fuck off.
112.
Oh, guys, killing it. So if you aren't already, please follow us on our Instagram, which is Anything Goes Poddy. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening and we'll see you for the next one. Bye.